Hey there, this is Greg, the Masked Gamer, and I am coming to you today with a playthrough of a final fight from Townsfolk Tussle. This is a game this is my second game of Townsfolk Tussle, and my second final fight. We'll talk more about that in a second. But for those of you who are new to my channel, this is a place for COVID cautious folks to talk about board games. You don't have to be COVID cautious to be here, provided there is no minimization, denialism, or harassment of any kind. If you leave something like that in the comments, you'll just be removed. It happened for the first time this week. I've arrived, yay! But today I am here by myself, so I will not be wearing a mask. It is also freezing, it is also windy, it is a terrible, 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 terrible day in the world. But we're gonna do some Townsfolk tussling. So my first game of Townsfolk Tussle, my final battle was against the Scarecrow. I lost with 1 health left to go on him. It was very, very sad. Today, in this run, we have, I have already defeated, who did I beat up this time? I defeated, gosh, I don't even remember. Oh, I did Bart Dovis, the tourist, and Will Barlow, the gravedigger, and Umbrello, the scary rain duder. And for this final battle, I will be going against Miss Penny Pinchetti, who is a bank, which opens up, which is so cute. And she wants to steal the deed of the town from the sheriff. The newly appointed sheriff is Granny Melba, who has a very high maximum health thanks to her gear. She's got a baseball cap, which helps with her shooties. She's got Bubba's washboard, which gives her some extra health. She's got some barrow bottoms that lets her heal if the boss runs into her. She's got a singing sword to help her compatriots do better. She still has her starting tool, the Rudy Tutor, which has served me well as something called the Fragile Deed. The whole tricky part of this final fight is that I am going to be trying to hold on to that deed and not let it get destroyed. Supporting Granny Melba in her intense journey are Yancey Plover, the reckless handyman, who has a handy-dandy pitchfork, love it, a lasso to stop that pesky boss from moving around too much, a football helmet to do some tanking, a nice little breezy cape that lets him heal whenever there is damage, a critical to the boss, and some showdown boots so that if he's the only target, the boss will take some damage. But of course, the boss is going to be chasing around poor little Granny Melba and her deed. Henlo, finally, we have Henlo Bulwark, the paranoid law dodger, who's kind of a supporty Healy character, who's got Bort's little fanny pack that they've never made any use of at all. They've got both their original wheat sickle as well as a purse cutter, but they're not really our damage dealer anyway, they're more our healer. But what I do have is a thief's bandana that will give +3 range and +1 damage to those weapons, so they might prove useful after all. A nifty little potion pack, which he doesn't need because he has his own healing ability. Still the original farmer's overalls, which will hopefully help trigger some terrain during this encounter, and smelling salts that will resurrect one of our friends. So, in the final fight against Penny Pinchetti, the team thinks that the fighting is over when a squat woman approaches them with fists clenched. It is Penny Pinchetti, and it's clear she's come to collect. "If no one in this poor excuse for a town can pay their taxes, then it's being reclaimed," she screams. "Which one of you lowlives is hiding the deed? I know it was in the old sheriff's office." You notice that one of your fellow townsfolk nervously hides a piece of paper behind their back. "Oh, well, jolly day, it's the deed. We can't let it fall into Penny's hands, whatever the cost. The fragile deed has 6 hit points, and whenever the townsfolk who controls it takes damage, it also loses hit points. We have to win without the sheriff being knocked out or the fragile deed being discarded. Her weakness is payment accepted. The next time the holder of the fragile deed takes damage, the fragile deed will be unharmed. We will get a special benefit if we win by completing the special objective which is to defeat Penny without the fragile deed being discarded. And with that, we are going to dive on in here. If the deck's too heavy, it's Penny Pinchetti. This game's hilarious. So we've pulled some Pitiless Punches, which is a punch directly to the wallet. It's going to target all townsfolk within 4 spaces, which is currently none of them. Then she is going to move. Then she's going to move towards the farthest townsfolk, which is our friend Yance. Now, the interesting thing here is that she will continue to take actions until the holder of the fragile deed is targeted. So since that did not target the owner of the fragile deed, we're going to have to draw another card, which is Find the Wealthy. Penny makes sure everyone is paying their fair share. This is also every townsfolk within 4 spaces, which incidentally in this instance is everyone except for Granny Melba. If there are 3 or more on the board, we will trigger the after effect. If there's less, she'll assume our tiny group is far from wealthy and just ignore us. But the after effect is that she will swing her coin sack about. She will deal 1 damage to Yancey Plover and do 1 damage to Henlo Bulwark. And if any target had 4 or more coins, they would take additional damage, but nobody really has any extra coins because one of the things that happened at the beginning of this is whoever got the fragile deed lost all of their coins, and in a solo game, it's a shared coin pool. So now Penny Pinchetti will move towards the farthest townsfolk, which in this instance is now poor little Granny Melba. Insurance fees. You'll be paying for damages, she says, and she targets the closest townsfolk. So that is Granny Melba, and we will trigger the after effect and then play the next card in the action deck. That is wild, but I'm going to assume that's going to be the last one. The after effect is to keep this card in front of the target. Whenever you deal damage to Penny, you lose 2 coins. If you have no coins to lose after dealing damage, discard this card. So that won't do anything, but it will count as the targeting. So whatever this next card is, we will move on. Bankroll Barrage. Penny hurls a myriad of coins at the townsfolk. This is nice. Targets all townsfolk. Penny uses her massive stockpile of coins to pelt the townsfolk. Each townsfolk weathers the assault and receives 3 coins. So even though we have a shared pool, I am going to separate the coins out for this battle just because of the nature of it. And that's just a house rule I'm calling, so they each have 3 coins now. Then she will move towards the poorest townsfolk and trigger the after effect. But, can I have that happen? Can I choose who that goes towards? Is the question. I don't think I can, but every townsfolk is going to take 1 damage from that attack. That is going to also do 1 damage to the deed. So an altogether terrible start to our final battle. And now we get to take our turns, starting with Yancey Plover. Yancey Plover gets to go first. That's exciting. So we are going to move over here and use our spork to attack the boss for 2 Moxie. And I rolled a 1 because my name is Greg, and I missed. So this is going swimmingly here. The next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to use Frantic Fighter. So the next played action, if the next played action targets a single townsfolk, it targets you instead. If it does not target a single townsfolk, you get 1 movement for the rest of the fight. And the reason I'm doing that is because whenever I'm the only target, the ruffian will take 1 automatic damage. And I love automatic damage because, as we can see, I suck at rolls. Next, we have Granny Melba. Granny Melba is going to run 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. Because she gets to do more damage the further she shoots. And she is going to attack with her Rudy Tutor, which she only gets to use every other round. And I get Granny Melba is far-sighted, so she gets extra accuracy for each space further from the monster she is. So she gets 3 plus 5, because she's 5 spaces away, is 8. Minus 1 is 7, which is enough to do the 2 damage that I need to do, and I do 2 damage to the boss. Finally, we will have Henlo Bulwark go. Henlo is going to try to hit the boss because this next spot is a break, and we don't want the breaks targeting Granny Melba, who is holding the deed. So we're going to start by moving over here. We're going to go ahead and attack the boss once with our purse cutter. And of course, we have missed with that as well. So I have whiffed it exponentially for the entire first turn of the game. Excellent, 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 excellent. I get to move 4 more spaces with Henley. And Henlo is very good at using buildings, so we're going to move Henlo towards the rickety farm, hoping that that helps us to do some extra damage to the boss. But now we're going to do some terrible things and see what Pinchetti does next. We've drawn hero tax. Plenty of time to play hero and no time to pay your dues. It targets all townsfolk, and she's going to move towards the farthest townsfolk, which is Granny Melba. Oh, yep, because it's all. Yancey Plover is going to get +1 movement for the rest of the fight because it wasn't the only target. Penny collects a hefty hero tax. All townsfolk lose coins equal to their current Feasts of Metal point total. So I did not keep track of what that was. I believe it was 4 for these 2 characters and 3 for Henlo. So Henlo will not take damage, but Granny Melba will, and Yancey Plover will, and that also means that our deed is now down to 4 health. This is terrible. The collected coins will go into a stockpile, which is placed at the bottom left square of the town's landscape, and any townsfolk that enters that square will receive all of those coins. Now, there's pretty much no point in me trying to pass the deed around, because when Granny dies, also the deed will die, so it'll all be over either way. So that's going to be unfortunate, and we keep drawing until, I think that I've done something a little wrong here, which is I think when it targets all townsfolk, that does count as targeting the holder of the deed. I can't imagine that we would have to really be reshuffling all of this that much more. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, and we're going to just keep rolling along here. Starting with Yancey Plover, who now has 5 movements. So that's going to be 2, 4, 5, because it costs extra to go through the use words, to go through the ditch, which is sad. We're going to use that Frantic Fighter ability again. We're also going to use, we're just going to use that Frantic Fighter ability again, so that hopefully that will help other things happen. Granny Melba. Oh, Granny Melba. Granny Melba gets +2 to her terrain rolls. She also cannot do anything with the gun this turn. We do not want to attack with the singing sword because it'll target her, but we do want to let other people get targeted. We can't get the 4 spaces to be within 2 squares of someone else. No one's within 2 squares of that. I'm realizing that having money might be valuable, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, so that I'm 2 spaces away and start running away a little bit. When I end my turn on the vegetable patch, I can heal 1, so she heals 1. Oh boy. I think I should have taken feats into this fight because they give you coins, but I didn't set it up that way, and we're just gonna keep going and see how things work out. Finally, we have Henlo Bulwark, who is going to try to do a simple attack again. Yeah. 5+. Finally, I get -1 accuracy, so that is still nothing. I did no damage. Excellent, but I am going to move 3 spaces to here and try to do the rickety barn action, which I've rolled a 6 plus 1 is 7, which is enough to heal me for 2, but doesn't do damage to the boss, and that's my usage of the Rickety Barn. So this is going about as terribly as it possibly could. Steel Heirloom. She's going to attack the closest townsfolk, who is going to be Yancey in this case. Oh, it doesn't say she moves. The target spots something hanging from Penny's waist, and they can't resist grabbing for it. So I get to roll a die. I've rolled a 9. They snagged it. It's the target receives the glittering hanky unique gear and may equip it immediately. Maybe this will turn things around for us. Let's find out. Glittering hanky. Glittering hanky. It's an accessory. You can discard 2 coins and let your next attack this turn deal plus 1 damage. Of course, I don't have... I'm not going to equip that right away because I don't have any coins on me. This card gets removed from the game and we play the next action card. This will target the richest townsfolk. So this will target whoever we want. We are going to have it target Henlo. I don't know why I decided to do that, but I did. It moves towards, it moves towards Henlo. It grabs all their coins. Henlo will take 1 damage, be pushed 3 squares further from Penny, and then those coins go in the bottom left, but nothing happens there. And it hasn't targeted Granny Melbo yet, so we flip this again. This one is taxing blows. It's going to target everybody within 3 spaces, deal 1 damage to each of them. So Henlo takes, this is going terribly. Henlo takes a damage, Yancey takes a damage, and this will go 1 space closer to the closest townsfolk. And then any target who took damage loses 2 coins, which will be placed in a stack next to Penny on any adjacent square. Still hasn't targeted Granny, so compile coins. Penny collects the coins she's gathered from you thus far, stuffing them deep inside her head. No target. Remove all coins from the board and place them on Penny's card. If there's at least 3 cards per townsfolk on her, trigger the after effect. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yes, the after effect. Penny is overflowing with coins. We will activate her weakness, remove this card from the game, and play the next card in the deck. So from now on, the next time Granny takes damage, the deed is unharmed. That's excellent. That's perfect. But we're still going to lose. On payroll, Penny offers you a position with the greatest benefits. Closest townsfolk, which is Yancey again. Move towards the target, trigger the after effect, and play the next card in the deck. Keep this card in front of the target. You are now on Penny's payroll. Whenever another townsfolk takes damage, you gain 2 coins. Whenever this occurs, if you have 6 or more coins, you take 1 damage, discard this card, and reshuffle the deck. Dear God. Next card, Extreme Taxing. Are you willing to separate from your precious coin? This time it's going to move towards the richest townsfolk, and we are going to declare that to be Granny Melba to end this streak. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is next to her. Penny will shake the target down for all they're worth. They must choose one of the following. Either the target loses all coins and takes 1 damage. Penny throws the collected coins to a stockpile. Any townsfolk that enters there can retrieve it. Or we refuse to pay up, and Penny clobbers the target with her massive vault face, reducing the target's health to 1. So we're going to take that 1 damage, leaving our deed with 3. So we are half dead, and we haven't even begun to do any damage to this boss yet. Oh dear gosh, but at least we get to take a turn. So first, oh God, this is terrible. First, Yancey's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yancey is going to attack, and hopefully this time we finally do some damage. We've rolled a 9. Yes, we did damage. We did 2 damage, which causes a break. Yancey's turn ends immediately. This card gets played, but it's not Pinchetti's turn, so we'll get to keep taking turns. You slipped a couple of coins, you'll take it from here. Target the poorest townsfolk, move towards them, and trigger the after effect. We are going to make that Henlo. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It did not reach Henlo, so no after effect happens, and then Granny will get to take her turn. So this is working out a little bit better for us at least. We are going to go 1, 2, 3, so that we are 5 spaces away. We're going to use the Rootin' Tootin' Hammer, hopefully Rootin' Tootin' Gun. 8, that's enough. So that does 2 more damage to Pinchetti. And I get to... oh, wait. The Ruffian was supposed to take damage when Yancey was the only target twice. So I kind of cheated there. So it would have had 2 more damage done by now, which means that this attack would have broken the next thing, which is unfortunate, but we're still going to have this be what occurred because I said so. So we're going to play the next card. It is Penny wrote a will for you, how kind. This targets the weakest townsfolk, which is Yancey, so that's actually pretty good. It's going to move towards the target. Yancey is the only target, so the boss loses 1 more health. Penny takes 1 damage. After effect, if the target is knocked out, Penny collects the coins from their unconscious body and piles them near her feet. But the target was not knocked out, so that's pretty good. All right, so that was Granny Melba. And finally, we move on to Henlo, who can come in and try to do some damage from behind because Henlo ain't going to get nowhere, no how anyway. I get +3. I could do +3 range and throw one of my weapons, causing a break, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to use the Thieves' Bandana to draw a weapon, to throw a weapon and give it +3 range. If I can hit this, we might be in good shape to win. 8. That is a hit. So that ended up doing 2 damage. Oh my god, I might pull this off. Caused a break, which means Penny's going to draw her next card. Target none. Penny divides your group for easy management. Oh geez. She rampages across the landscape and grabs these townsfolk by the neck, flinging them in opposite directions. Place half of the townsfolk adjacent to the top board edge and the other half adjacent to the bottom board edge. Townsfolk placed on the top take 1 damage. Townsfolk placed on the bottom lose 3 coins. Then place her adjacent to the poorest townfolk. So I think I can put them wherever I want. So we are going to put Yancey on the bottom so that Yancey doesn't die, basically. We are going to put... we're also going to put Henley on the bottom because it's half and half, as easy as possible. We're going to put Yancey over here, you over here. We are going to put Melba on the top, and she will take 1 more damage, leaving our deed with only 2. But we're going to place Penny adjacent to the poorest townsfolk, and we're going to just say that that's Henley. So this should give us a little bit more breathing room to pull this stuff off, I hope. We'll see, though, because we are going to draw 1 more card because it is now technically her turn, which means we're going to shuffle that deck in a second. It's an offer you literally can't refuse. We're going to target the poorest townfolk, and if Penny reaches them, deal 1 damage. We're just going to say that that's Granny Melba, so that we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the turn is going to end because Granny was targeted. Cool. Seeing how this works now, we're going to reshuffle all this for the next turn, and all we need to do is pull off doing 1, 2, 3, 4 damage this phase, which I don't think is possible, and we'll have a win on our hands. But I think we're going to pull this off either way. So let's see what happens. All right. So firstly, we are going to have Yancey go, and Yancey's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and is going to use the little taunting, frantic fighting ability. See what happens with that. Granny is going to go. Did Granny shoot her gun on the previous turn? Yeah, she did. So she can't shoot her gun this time. She's still got 3 health. The other thing still got some health left too. So I think it's worth coming in here and trying to do the 1 damage. And we are going to roll. This costs. I have to get a 6 plus with a -1. I did. So I do 1 damage to her still. I'm not showing the dice. You're just going to have to trust me. I'm rushing tonight. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm doing. That's the story. Okay, good job on her. And then Henley gets to go, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll throw the purse cutter, which will do +1 damage if I hit. It does hit. Penny's got 1 life left. So this hopefully is going to work out for us in the end. Her first card is targets all townsfolk, and like I think from now on that should count as targeting the fragile deed person. She's going to move towards the farthest townsfolk. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she gets to poor little Yancey. All townsfolk lose coins equal to their current point total. Nobody is able to lose coins because they don't have coins. So everyone will take 1 damage. This will knock out Yancey. This will do 1 more damage to Henlo. And it will do 1 more damage to Granny, leaving our deed with 1 left. All those coins get thrown into the bottom left corner, but nobody can really do anything with it. Yancey's knocked out. Too bad for Yancey. Granny can now use her gun. She's going to come over here. She's going to shoot with her gun, and she's going to roll a 1. Of course she is. So she's going to move 1 space further away. Lovely. Henlo can't attack because Henlo threw all their knives around, but they can discard their smelling salts to return a knocked out person to the board next to them with 1 health, and can then use 1 moxie. We've got 2 moxie. They're going to use 2 moxie to restore a 2nd health, meaning that Yancey's going to have 2 health instead of 1 health. And now we have to survive yet another round because I suck. You slipped a couple of coins, we'll take it from there. Okay, this is fine. It's going to target the poorest townsfolk, which is Melba, so it's going to come moving over to Melba. The target is bribed. They receive 2 coins. 1 and 2. So Melba's got 2 coins now. Oh, I would have discarded this a long time ago. The target is placed adjacent to the townsfolk closest to them, regardless of distance. That townsfolk is punched by the target for 1. But the good news is we should be able to pull this off unless I miss 3 times. Yancey's going to move over here. I say unless I miss 3 times, but we all know that might happen because my name's Greg. We have rolled a 4, which is not enough to hit. We're going to use the Moxie Taunt. The Moxie Taunt. I had missed with the gun. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 over to here. And we are going to try to hit with a 6. We rolled a 9. Woo! We have killed Penny Pinchetti. And then we get to read a story time. And this is exciting because this is my first win story time. And I even liked our lose story time. And you'll see, we bang this out in 30 minutes, right? So even though this is one of the quickest boss battlers there is, you can bang it right out. Even if you play all 4 bosses, boom, 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 you could totally win the whole thing in 3 hours or less, including the 4 towns phases. So I think it's quick, it's easy, it's simple, and we are going to read 26 because we completed the special objective. Hated that fight. Anyway, Penny pays the ultimate price. Penny pays. The new sheriff, which is Granny Melba, and Penny are playing tug of war with the town deed. The deed looks as though it's about to tear in two when the rest of the team comes to the rescue, driving their weapons into Penny's back. The impact sends her faceplate flying, and a plethora of entrails and knickknacks flows out of her vault-like body. Penny collapses to the ground, and it's clear the battle is over. The townsfolk cheer in victory, while the peddler sneakily extracts goods from Penny's guts. After that day, things return to normal in Eureka Springs. Normal being a tax-free, carefree lifestyle, of course. Your ragtag group of townsfolk were able to prevent the town from falling into the wrong hands, and you deserve applause. Congratulations, you win. You've unlocked new peddler gear. Search the secret gear deck, which is hidden under the box insert, for the panic button and donor's checkbook, and shuffle them into the peddler deck. Keep an eye out for them in future games. I did not even check if there was, oh my god, that's because everything's gonna fall out of this box. So there is indeed some secrets hidden in this box. I love secrets hidden in boxes. This is gonna make a big mess. Secret box! Okay, hold on. Let me try to get this back in there without making a big mess. Oh. I made a little mess, but not a big mess. But I made a mess. Oh dear, what I did. Okay. So, we have found the secret hidden box. So it's good we filmed it this time. Let's take a look at what's inside here. We're gonna get the panic button and the donor's checkbook. Oh gosh. Oh, it opens all the way up. It's like a little treasury secret box. Look at this. It opens like this, and then it opens like this, and then it opens like this, and then it opens like this. I love you. This company's made me happy. So let's see. We get panic button and donor's checkbook. Panic button, donor's checkbook. Panic button, panic button, donor's checkbook. So just so that we can show what these do for everyone in the world, and these have a little like thumbs up icon on it, which is good for if we ever sell this game to reset this box and hide it under the thing for everyone else. Now I know what that other slot was for that I didn't know before. All right, so we have the donor's checkbook. And that lets you, it's a special gear. You can pay 1 coin at any time to give any amount of your coins to another townsfolk. Not useful for me, useful for multiplayer. And then we have the panic button, which is also special gear. You can discard it at any time to discard all of the gear you own and receive that many pieces of gear from the top of the peddler deck. You may equip this gear immediately. That would have been great for Henlo after throwing all those knives around. But now we've got these 2 new special items that go into our peddler deck, which is a very big deck. And that right there is Townsfolk Tussle, one of the final fights against one of the 12 bosses in the base game. I think this is adorable. It doesn't have high cognitive load. I feel like there's definitely ways to house rule it, to just play it, and just do 1 battle instead of the 4 battles in a row. I feel like this is something that I could play with non-gamers. I think it's simple enough. I love the company's customer support. I love the art. I love the humor. I love this game. I love this game. So happy I bought it. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And do not forget, unlike Yancey Pullover, keep those health bars full. Thank you and have a great night.